Good morning and welcome to News 9. I'm Nolan Pinto. Now, the fight over the Samadhi of Vimalananda has reached a violent turn. Stones were pelted at the Samadhi, which is within the temple premises of Kolluru temple. The stones were pelted at around midnight. Well, in fact, the fight over the Samadhi of Vimalananda has reached a violent turn. Stones were pelted at Vimalananda's Samadhi, which is within the temple premises of Kolluru temple. The stones were pelted at around midnight. Well, for more on this, I'm joined in by my colleague Varghese. Varghese, what exactly is this controversy all about?
Well, what happened was, Nolan, on June 3rd, Vimalananda Srigal was in fact was buried within the premises of the Nityananda Ashrama. Now, the problem was some of the people from the Kolluru temple said that a Samadhi cannot be within the boundaries of the temple premises. The Samadhi that was given or where he was buried, the Samadhi which was made, was in fact within the boundaries of the temple, and this had in fact stoked a lot of fight between the temple authorities and the followers of Vimalananda. And at present, what we know is that in the night there was an attack on the Samadhi. Around 18 stones was pelted at the Samadhi, and this has in fact hurt the feelings of the followers of Vimalananda, and they suspect that the temple authorities must be behind this attack on the Samadhi, and they've in fact registered a case with the police, but the police are also investigating the matter at present. Now they are trying to ensure that both the factions do not fight it out in the temple premises at present, and what they are saying is that according to the temple authorities, there cannot be a burial site within the boundaries or the premises that have been described according to the possession certificate of the temple, but this Samadhi is within the boundaries, and therefore it is, according to them and according to their belief, it creates bad luck for the people who visit the temple, and also it's a bad luck for the temple. So they've been arguing that the Samadhi has to be shifted. Now on June 3rd, when Vimalananda was passed away, his followers immediately buried him within a space that was allotted, and this was within the precincts and boundaries of the temple. Now this has not gone down well with the temple authorities and the hurried manner in which the burial was conducted. So from then onwards in Kolluru, there has been a tension in the area with people supporting the Samadhi to be within the premises of the temple and those who want the Samadhi shifted. Now at midnight yesterday, what we know is that this attack has occurred and around 18 stones were pelted at the Samadhi. Nolan.
Now, Varghese, for the benefit of our viewers, could you just tell them who exactly is this Vimalananda?
So Vimalananda Swami was in fact a person who has been working in the premises of Kolluru, and he's been well known to be a teacher in the place. He's got a lot of followers in the area. They've been in fact considering him next to God. So there has been a situation where he's been able to have his own flock, and when he passed away, it is his followers who in fact buried him on June 3rd within a space that was allotted to them. But now the controversy has been raked up, saying that the place in which they have been buried is within the precincts of the temple and against the temple law, Nolan.
Right, Varghese, thank you very much for all those details. Now, in fact, the Nityananda Ashram at Kollur was catering to the divine and social needs of the people. Now, Sri Vimalananda Swamiji had served in the ashram until his death. Now, the ashram has the tradition of burying the deceased Swamijis of the ashram in the purview of its area. Now, likewise, rituals were performed and Sri Vimalananda Swamiji was buried within the purview of Nityananda Ashram, but the Kollur Mukambika Temple administration stated that the administration basically had no right to bury his body in the premises of the temple. Well, in a grim reminder of the beach tragedy, 10 people were trapped in the Tenughat Dam reservoir at Bokaro after water was suddenly released into it on Friday evening. The rescue operation undertaken by the army and the police have been successful in rescuing the stranded students from the Damodar that was in full spate after the release of the water from the dam. Well, in fact, in an eerie replay of the beach tragedy, at least 10 people aged between 12 to 20 years were trapped in the middle of the Damodar River on Friday night after a gate of the Tenugat Dam was thrown open, sending millions of cubic feet of water swirling downstream. Now, this is near the Pachaura village. The stranded persons managed to climb atop a concrete platform built by the Chandrapura thermal power station to check the strong currents of the river. Personnel of Bokaro Police and Central Industrial Security Force, or the CISF, launched an operation to rescue the stranded persons, who were spotted shouting for help at around 3 in the afternoon. Now, it was not immediately clear how the 10 persons found themselves in the middle, of the Damodar River when the water level rose. Now, the site of the incident is about 150 kilometers from the capital Ranchi. The dam's gates was opened after the water level rose to 853.5 feet against the safe level of 852.10 feet. Now, on the 8th of June, what you see there on your left of your television screen, 24 engineering students from Hyderabad and a tour operator were washed away in the Beas River in Himachal Pradesh after sudden release of water from the Larji Dam. Now, the students who were from the VNR Vijnana Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology in Hyderabad were on an excursion trip to Manali. The tragedy occurred when a group of students reached the riverbed for a picture postcard shoot. Now, a sudden wall of water released into the river swept all of them away. Now, on the day of final deadline it had set for entering the Campacola compound, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, or the BMC, failed to begin phase 1 of its plan to raise the 35 illegal floors across 7 buildings of the housing complex as residents resisted their efforts to enter the compound and carry out the Supreme Court ordered demolition. The civic body now plans to forcibly enter the compound along with strong police support and disconnect the electricity and gas lines to the 96 illegal flats in the compound. On Friday, the BMC team, comprising 40 officials, including from the Brihan Mumbai Electric Supply and Transport Undertaking and also the Mahanagar Gas Limited, were not allowed to enter the compound despite 2 attempts, as it was barricaded with new iron gates. Now, defiant Campacola residents on Friday thwarted attempts by municipal authorities to cut off essential supplies to the illegal flats by blocking their entry into the compound, by locking up the gates and forming human barricades. With the deadline set by authorities for vacating the flats ending, officials of the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, or the MCGM, descended on the compound yesterday morning with a large police contingent in tow, only to be greeted with closed gates and women pleading with folded hands, asking them to go away. Now, the authorities beat a retreat after 2 failed attempts to convince the residents and said that they would once more try today, that's Saturday. Well, the government has learned to have open channels with Saudi Arabia for the rescue of captured Indians in Mosul city of Iraq. India has had good relations with the oil-rich country in recent years, and the regime there is known to have some influence on Sunni militants in Iraq. The 40 Indians are suspected to have been kept in captivity by Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, militants at 2 different locations near Mosul. Sources within the security establishment said contact channels are being established with Saudis to get more information on state of the abductees, to establish the abductors are from ISIL and not some other outfit, the intention of the abductors, and also eventually putting pressure on them through Riyadh to release the Indians. Now, a security establishment officer was quoted as saying the government has already said that it would leave no stone unturned to secure the release of Indians in captivity. Various channels, including with Saudi Arabia, have been opened, unquote.